Hello. Today I wanted to give you some best practices for using Google Classroom. You can see here, this is my main Google Classroom page with all the classes I'm a teacher for or I'm a member in. And notice that some of these have to-dos in them. I'm going to show you how to make that work for you today. Of course, to create a classroom, you come to the plus button and click Create a Classroom, or to join, you hit Join and enter your class code. I'm going to go into my science classroom and show you a couple things. First is the stream. The stream is best used for making announcements. The stream is chronological. The most recent thing is at the top, and it has all of the things that you've posted forever. And you can keep scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down, and you can see everything you've ever posted in the stream. It is best used for announcements. If you want to assign classwork, something that you want the students to do, whether you're going to grade it or not, you want to use the Classwork tab. Now the Classwork tab has a couple different features here. First, there's a big Create button. If you're going to create an assignment, it's the very first choice. You have a couple other little options there, but for today, I just want to focus on assignments. If I'm going to create an assignment in Google Classroom, I just click that, and it brings up my assignment page. I give the assignment a title, so I'm just going to call this one Assignment 1. And fix your spelling, of course, and give it some instructions. Okay, now you may have something that you want to attach. To an assignment, you can attach a Google Drive file, a website link, a file from your computer, or a video from YouTube. The most useful is to use a file that is in your Google Drive. For instance, if you made a Word document on a computer, unless the formatting is such that you can't use it, I would recommend uploading it to Google Drive and then assigning it here through Google Drive. When I click that, the Recent tab comes up so you can see the most recent things you've done. So I'm going to pick this Dividing Unit Fractions page and add that to my assignment. Now here's where I say warning, warning, warning. This is a very important step. When you attach a file, you have three options. The students can view the file, the students can edit the file, or the students can you make a copy for each student. Those are three different scenarios that you would want. For most of the work that you're going to want a student to do and turn in, you're going to want to choose this third copy, make a copy for each student. If you have a collaborative document and you want all students to work on the file, you want to choose edit the file. And like this instance, this is just a step-by-step direction. I might say, I just want the students to be able to view the file. In this case, though, I'm going to say make a copy for each student. Over in this panel, you can see where does this assignment go. So even though I'm in my science classroom, I can actually assign this to any of the classrooms in which I'm a teacher. So you don't have to make multiple assignments over and over again. So if I want this to be in both my first period science class and my second science class, I click them both and it will go to both. You can also, if you're in just one class, notice the student goes gray if you're in two, but if you're in just one class, you can assign it to particular students. So maybe only a few students need to get this assignment. I might just pick a few here. And that will make this assignment show up for just them. And in their stream, they will be the only people who see in their classwork stream this assignment. Everyone else won't see it. But for the majority of your assignments, you're probably going to assign to everybody. So just leave that as all students. Points, you can give something points or you can assign it as ungraded. I'm just going to leave this at 100 points. A due date is an important thing to pick. When you pick a due date, you can add a little calendar here, and I'm just going to say, as all of our things for the district are due right now, it is noon on Friday. Make sure you pick PM. And I'm going to click away from that. By doing this, it will show up as a to-do item for your students and for you in that original Google Classroom page. Now you can also work ahead and not assign this right now, but schedule this to post. So I can say, all right, I want this to post today at, and it has to be in the future, let's say 3 p.m. And you have to do that as a capital PM. There we go. And this should come in at 3 p.m. and I can schedule that. Sorry, one thing before I schedule that, you want to make sure that you give it a topic. This will help you organize your classwork tab, and I'll show you that in a minute. So for this one, I'm going to put this under Using Classroom as my choice. So now I'm going to go back to this schedule, and I'm going to go back to scheduling this at 3 p.m. And there we go. Now when I hit schedule, it works for a second, and now it drops me back into my classroom, and you can see it doesn't show up in this topic, it doesn't show up in this topic, but now under Using Classroom I have this grayed out assignment 1, which I can click on the 3 little snowman dots and edit. It'll take me right back to that page I was on. It's still set for schedule. I'm going to go back to scheduling it again. Still scheduled for 3 p.m. In your classwork, it is a best practice to make topics so that students can find the work you're looking for. You can simply do that by the way we did it when we created our assignment, or if you forget and need to afterwards, under that Create button, you have a topic choice. These can also be dragged into any order. So, for instance, you put whatever you want to be completed first at the top. So notice that these are out of order from when I assigned them, but this came before number 3, and this was from last week, so they're still in here. There is no hide function. You can either delete the assignment or move it up and down. So I tend to leave mine there and just move up the most recent one to the top. When you have things turned into you, the benefit of doing things the way we just did is you have these to-do lists. Now if I click on one of these from out here, but I can also click on it from within the Google Classroom, it takes me to the work page for this. Now I'm going to go back out and show you how you can get into this through here. That was on the main page, but if you're just in classwork, I can come in here and hit that same assignment and view assignment, which incidentally is the directions that you'll want to tell the kids to click the assignment and then view assignment. Now I can see all the student work for this assignment. This assignment was a 16-point assignment. You can see all the students here, and they're arranged by whether they've turned it in or not. And if it's not turned in, it lists as assigned. I can email those students by clicking the Assign button and send an email, or I can individually select which students I want to send an email to, or I could send an email to everyone in the class by clicking All Students. When it's time for me to assess these, you click on one student's work, and this brings you up to the Grading tab. Now in the Grading page, you can see the student you're looking at here, you can see their work here. On the right-hand side, you can see where you can assign a grade or a private comment. So if I put a comment in here, this goes just back to this student. This little comment bubble is something that they added relatively recently. This is a comment bank, and if you find yourself typing similar or the same things to multiple students, you may want to type it here, and then you can copy that and paste it to the student here without having to type a whole comment again. Now, I'm not going to send that to that student, but that's how you do that. When you're done with this student, you can click over here and just tab through to the very next student and do the same thing for that. So it allows you to quickly go through each student. It tells you whether or not it was returned, whether it was turned in, and so forth. Another neat function here is if I click this drop-down menu, I have the option to sort by first name, last name, or what I typically do, which is status. If I go by status, it puts the turned in assignments at the top and the ones that are not turned in at the bottom, so that if I want to grade everybody who's turned it in, I can do that. Or if I want to find somebody who hasn't turned it in, I can look at their work and maybe make a comment that can help them out to get it finished. Once you're done grading everybody, you can close that window and it will take you back to this main page, and you can return all the work. So if it's been turned in, it will be returned. If they're assigned, they won't get anything back because they obviously haven't turned it in. Another thing you might run into is a student who has turned in the work, but for whom you need to make adjustments. The student may need to make adjustments. So you can return this to the student before you grade it. They will get a message in their email saying, the teacher wants you to do some work with this. You can give them a private comment. They can come back in and edit it and then turn it in again. One thing I would like to show you before we finish is what this looks like to a student. So I'm going to log in as a student here and show you that they see the same to-do list for their class, although they have probably less classes than you do, maybe not, depending on how many. You click into there, and the student can then go in here. They see the same stream as you have, and when they go to Classwork, they can see the work that they've done. From the student, if they want to do work and turn it in, when they click this, they also have to select the View Assignment, and then they can see all their assignments, and their document shows up right here. So all they have to do to work on it is click. And when they're done, all they have to do to turn it in is come back here and click the Turn In button. So I can do the work here. And if it is a Google Doc, like this one is, they don't even have to go back to the classroom to turn it in. You'll notice that in a second, once this loads fully, there's a Turn In button at the very top of the page here. And there it is. Once I've done the work here, I can click Turn In, and it gets sent to my classroom. Or I can do the work, and since it's a Google Doc, it's saved. I can close that window. And now I just click the Turn In button, and it says this will be attached and turned in. You might be wondering what happens if there's an assignment where you just ask them to read or to watch a video. You can still have them submit and tell that it's done, but the page looks just slightly different. If I go into an assignment here, like for instance this one, I had the students take a quiz on the McGraw-Hill site and then come back, and all they have to do is click the Mark as Done button, and that will let me know that they have finished the quiz. Now, you can't see the quiz's grades from another site, but you can at least have them mark that they have finished it. Hopefully this was a helpful little tour about best practices for making assignments in Google Classroom.